Hello, hello, everyone. My name is Cleric the Mimic, and I have some friends here with me today. People I want to get to know a little bit more detail. They're pretty good friends of mine. We usually stream like completely separate schedules, but that's a good thing because I get to see them both stream. So I would like to introduce you to my friends, Ellion and Nia. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name's EllionSyn. I'm a demonic dragon VTuber here to help you send the night away without having to worry about any of those pesky consequences. And I almost always stream with my lovely streaming partner, the great NiahPolitan, who you see right here.
Hi, and I'm NiahPolitan. I'm an ice cream here to steal your heart, but mainly your ice cream. And I will usually stream with this guy right here, Ellion.
Awesome. I met you guys, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe. I don't know precise, but I haven't really got a chance to like talk to you guys in detail and like really get to know you other than just one little collab of playing some games and of course catching each other's streams and such. Um
Yeah.
so one of the things I wanted to ask you guys that I think is I think would be a very interesting question to ask you guys is how do you two got into VTubing in the first place?
Oh
Ah.
boy,
um,
quite the story.
it is. How do you want to handle this?
Mm, I'll do my side first because they tie into each other.
Sure.
I was in. It was about three. Oh God, it was like almost 4 years ago. It's about 3.5 years ago. I was in a pretty terrible situation. And I met Ellion online on the MMO Final Fantasy 14. Um, Ellion, believing he could help, offered to come get me, to which he drove about 24 hours across the country to come get me. Um, and he brought me to his house. I was only supposed to stay there temporary, but my friends, if you can call them that, decided that I could not live with them. So I was with Elian. Elian, in my depressed state, said that I should do something with my time, that I could be a 3D modeler, which I had skills in. I said I didn't want to do something with art because I didn't want to lose my joy for it. So he thought I could be a good streamer. And at the time, I actually had a VTuber model that I wanted to make called Nia. To which I was like, I've always wanted to be a VTuber. So I explained to Elliot what a VTuber was, and he was like, well, I asked, will you do it with me?
Yeah. I guess to add on to that, the few things that she didn't mention were yeah, like so we met on 14. I would talk to her. We were in the same raid group, and she would tell me things like about her living situation and stuff like that. And I just realized that from the things she was saying that if any day that we woke up was a day that she may not be there anymore.
Mhm.
And so I didn't know what to do, and so I was like, I know this is not something I would ever recommend to anybody else, but I'll come get you if you want to be free of your situation because she had a friend who lived about 2 hours away from me, who was willing to take her in. And so I was like, okay, I'll come get you, and then you stay with me until your friend is ready to have you, and then I'll bring you over there. And the friend was like, yeah, it might take like 2 months for me, 3 months for me to set up. And I was like, sure, no problem. And so I did that, and then the friend, when she got there, was like, "Oh, by the way, I changed my mind. It would not be good for my mental health to have you here, so you can't stay here anymore." And at that point, I had known very little about her friends, but when I learned that in particular, I was like, "Hey, with friends like this, who needs enemies?" You know? But yeah, I drove about 22 and a half hours straight to go get her because I was very worried about her current situation she was in. And then, we took breaks on the way back. But then after her friend kind of left her high and dry, I was like, well, I guess you could just stay here as long as you need.
Mhm.
And it's been almost 3 years now. So,
Mhm.
Holy crap, I was not expecting anything like that. Um,
No, yeah, it like I said, it's quite the story.
right.
yeah. And
That is quite the story. Well,
And then yeah, like she said, she was sleeping all day every day, and I was like, listen, I know you're battling. She's got the
Persistent depressive disorder. That's the depression that lasts years, not months.
Right. So she's got like the worst kind of depression you can have. And I was like, listen, I fully understand you've got depression. But the thing is that you got to do something. You got to have goals. You got to have something to work towards, to motivate you. And I was like, I think you'd be good at Blender, which is a 3D modeling program, like she said. And
Mhm.
she was like, but I don't want to do that for a job. And I'm like, okay, well, I think you'd be a good streamer. And then she was like, you think so? I'm like, yeah. And she was like, well, I'd like to do this thing called VTubing. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is, but by all means go do it. And she goes, well, will you do it with me? And then she explained to me what it was, and I was like, well, if we got to figure out how to get you a VTuber model, then yeah, I'll do it with you. But the thing was, is she already had the basic design. Like, I mean, Cleric, you've known us long enough to know Nia's like original design. Right now she's in her goth model, but that was the design she had on like a reference sheet. And so then I wasn't working as much at the time, and I was like, okay, I got to play catch up to you. So I literally sat down and I just started finding reference images and drawing things myself. And I literally stared at a blank piece of paper and I'm like, what do I want to be? I was like, I don't know. I have all this religious trauma, so a demon sounds pretty pretty on par. And then I was like, dragons are cool, so I threw that in there too, and that's how I became a demon dragon. And I had drawn things like my horns. I had drawn parts of my coat, my pants, my gloves, and my shoes. Like I could draw a little bit, like enough to do sketches to give over to a real artist. But I had a decent amount of it fleshed out, and then here we are. Then we debuted. We started streaming though. With our voices, because when she told me about all this, I was like, okay, well, that's a lot of money to spend on this kind of thing. And for me personally, I had been told my whole life that I was unlikable, I was unlovable, that no one, like, I was told directly by my parents that my mom in particular, that I would need to go to such intense therapy to be on a conversational level with other people, that she feared the kind of people that I would attract, both as friends or otherwise. And so I had that in the back of my head, when I started streaming. I was like, we got to stream with just our voices, A, to figure out if we like streaming, and B, to figure out, more importantly, if anybody likes us, like, at all. And so obviously they do, and so we're here and we're trying to, grow and, expand what we've built upon. But it was very very unlikely circumstances that actually brought us to meet everybody.
Hmm.
That's crazy though. Like I mean, that's one hell of a story. Like, I know a few people that told me their story, and but I think out of everyone that I have talked to, like friend wise, before I started doing this kind of thing, because I just wanted something new to do and something to keep me busy. And I was like, oh, I'll interview you two and see how things go. But I never expected to hear a story like that. That's crazy, though.
We talk about it every now and then, like on stream
Usually when
stuff.
someone brings up how we started VTubing.
Yeah, bits and pieces. The other thing too is that, like, I mean, I tell stories about past jobs that I've worked, things like that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. It all kind of ties in, because we just told you the story from when I met Nia and on. The story from both like me and Nia and before is also crazy.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know. It's just a lot.
I understand. I
been through
completely.
a whole bunch.
I could assume so from just the vague, um, you know, information that you're giving me, because I don't want to like dive too much into detail with it unless you feel comfortable
Hmm.
with it, of course. But I'm not gonna ask because I can kind of assume a few things. Um, but it's wonderful that you two met up and um you know even come up to the conclusion of streaming together. I think that's just very I think it's very interesting. you know um were you two friends like really close before that event happened, or were you just people you just play together and didn't think much about it?
We actually met on the game through strange circumstances. I play Final Fantasy 14 often. It's one of my favorite games, but Ellion joined my static group, which, for those who are unaware, Final Fantasy XIV has Savage rating, which is a difficult type of rating where it's 8-person content where you do difficult fights together. And Ellion joined my static group when we had just started because we needed a melee fill-in, to which Ellion was the person who was recruited. So that's how we met, and we were only friends for like 6 months before the stuff happened.
To add on to that a little bit, I actually was not supposed, like, I had quit Final Fantasy 14 before all this, but then I had a friend who called me and was like, this was when Dawn Trail was coming out. He goes, Dawn Trail, you got to watch the intro. And I watched it. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool, but I've been really busy and I don't think I have time and I just don't have the desire to play anymore. And he goes, well, I hear that the story is going to be really good. You should just do the story. And then you could quit or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so I will. So I did, and I went and did the Dawn Trail story. And then on the day I was supposed to quit, the Savage tier dropped, and one of my friends, because I was always a Savage raider, one of my friends said, dude, it is the easiest Savage tier that we've ever had in this game. You just have to do it because it's so easy. You'll be done with it like in a month. And I was like, okay. So I went and I did the first fight. I beat it in a day, and then I beat the second fight in the next 2 days, and then I beat the third fight, and then I got halfway through the fourth fight, and I was like, this is where it starts to get a little bit harder, and I had never had a static before, really, so I was like, let me go find a static. And so the first static I talked to, it didn't work out for some reason. I don't remember exactly what the deal was. But I didn't get good vibes from the person I was talking to. And then the second person, he was very nice. He was like, oh, hey, we'd love to have you, like, and he was making small talk, trying to talk to me and stuff. And then I got in that group, and I remember introducing myself to that group, and they were like, what do you want us to call you? And I was like, as long as you don't
Anything
call
but
me
that asshole.
anything but that asshole, and we're good. And then that stuck in her mind forever. So that was when we met. But
And we started hanging out outside of the static doing random Final Fantasy XIV things.
Okay.
yeah, and so it's one of those things that I've said on stream before, but I don't ever recommend somebody accepting an offer from somebody to come get them, like, especially when you haven't known them for long at all. It's a very risky move and something very dangerous. The only thing that I could really offer was that I knew that I didn't have any malice in my heart or anything like that, but it's impossible to know, and it's the other thing too, that I was looking for many different alternatives for her, but nothing was working. And her situation that she was in was very dire. And I'm a meddler, like, I get involved in people's problems more than I should, and one day it will come to bite me, but I don't know. I'm compelled to help, like, especially if I think it's life or death. And I thought it was here. And I was like, listen, this is not a good idea. But all I could say is that I'm trustworthy. And if you will let me do this, if you tell me I can't come there, then I will not come there. But if you tell me I can come get you, I will have you. I will have you and bring you back here within, like, 24 to 36 hours. So that I just filled up my car with meals, and I drove nonstop. So, but if it wasn't the gravity of her situation, then I would not have done anything like this. And I could never recommend somebody do this. It's such a risky move, especially with the way people are these days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very kind of you to do that, for somebody, especially for, you said what, 6 months, about 6 months maybe of knowing each other.
About, yeah.
Yeah, about that. I mean, that's crazy. But, if you felt that was the right move to do, yeah, I would say listen to your gut and go for it, and hell, I mean, look at it now. Like, I mean, you two are, streaming together. Y'all seem pretty chill with each other, So
Yeah.
I feel like, fate just kind of played a big part of this,
It's true. No, I was just saying, like, a lot of the times, like, I'm compelled to help. Like, it's hard because, like, I know that I have to protect myself and, like, not get involved in certain things. But then there's other times where I just do get involved, and sometimes it's probably I should let people handle their own stuff, because, like, in any other scenario would be like, a normal person would be like, this is way too dangerous to wade into. Like, what if they bite you back, or something, or like, they bite the hand that feeds them or whatever. But like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I remember when, I won't get into too much of it, but I came off of a string of, like, I have a law degree, and I like completely left the law behind because I just couldn't stomach doing that anymore.
Mhm.
And I won't go back to it unless I absolutely have to, like if it was a matter of survival. But it's just one of those things that I remember that after some jobs that I had worked and they just made me absolutely fucking miserable for one reason or another. I remember I fell into this deep, deep depression, like deep, and I won't get into it, like I said, but I was like staring at a wall like every day for about 3 months straight. Like I would
Mhm.
wake up, eat food, stare at a blank wall, and I would not listen to music. I would not play video games. I would not do anything. I would literally just vegetate every day and then go back to sleep. And then at somewhere around the 3.5 month mark, I was like, I have to do something. And so that's when I started writing the book that had been working on. But I remember that in the depths of my like fucking just depression and misery, I was like, no one is gonna come help me. Like, I, the only thing I can do is figure out a way to help myself. And if I do not do this, then I will probably completely lose my will to live. And so I did. And it was very difficult, but I knew no one was coming to help me. And so when I was confronted with her situation, I wanted to be the person for someone else that no one could have ever been for me, or no one was willing to be for me. So it's like, I want people to help each other more in this world. And if I want people to do that, then I got to lead by example. And
I
that's
agree.
why I guess I
Mhm.
meddle too much, or I meddle more than I should. So,
Before I'll ask Via this question. If you got your drinks
Mhm.
that I asked y'all to get, I think it'd be a good
yeah.
time to crack those bitches open real quick and let's see what y'all drinking. Right
Uh,
now I'm drinking a Coke, so that's what I'm doing.
as a person who has been on a partner push for like the last like 3 months, I am drinking out of a jug of a gallon of water that has liquid IV in it.
Amazing.
Oh shit! What about you, Nia? What you drinking?
I am drinking a strawberry kiwi spicy water, which is what I call sparkling water.
Bubbly, yeah.
Bubbly.
Nice. So to get back to the subject, Nia, what was you thinking the entire time when Alien decided to drive to come get you? What was you thinking the entire time?
I actually pushed back a lot the first times that Elliot asked, despite the fact that I was in a pretty dangerous situation. I won't get too deep into it because it's tough to talk about the
I
stuff that I was
understand.
going through. Um, but I pushed back a lot because as someone with depression, anxiety, ADHD, probably autism, um, I grew up in a family and with friends, obviously, who considered me a very large burden. And so I did not want to, quote, burden myself on Elian because I believed that, like, obviously, no one could possibly care for me in the situation I was in and the way I had grown up. So I pushed back a lot when Elian first decided that he wanted to come get me. And it wasn't until things got like to a large turning point where I finally agreed to for this because I was fearing for my own safety, whether it be from myself or the people that I was currently living with.
Mm.
So I was concerned that I would become a burden again to somebody else that I cared about.
Yeah, and so like it was one of those things where like I would say I asked maybe 3 times over the course of a week. The first time, was I don't know. The second time was, which is functionally a no. Second time was no, I don't want to be a burden on you. And then I had to be like, listen, I can't make you do anything. And if you say no, it means no. But I just have this feeling like with everything you're telling me, that if I don't come get you, then every day that I wake up is a day that I may not see you ever again. You know what I mean? So I
Mm.
was like,
Mhm.
I can't make anybody trust me. And here's the other thing too. again, I have to reiterate, this is not something I would ever recommend to another individual. There are people out there who hang out online that look for people who are vulnerable to prey on them. The only thing I knew was that I was not one of those people, but like I can't effectively tell someone that they should just drop all common sense to, take a chance like that. But I essentially had to try, and if I didn't think it was as dire as it was, then I never would have mentioned something like that. I had run through a number of different scenarios where we were trying to get her to move in with other friends and things like that. But all of her quote friends, even though she was in this horrible situation,
Mm-hmm.
none of them would do it, And I told her, I'm like, with friends like this, I don't know who needs enemies, if nobody even has your back remotely. To put things in perspective too, one of the people, not the one who she was supposed to move in with that just magically changed her mind. Her other friend, who was supposedly her best friend, was like, "Yeah, I can't have you here, but I'll at least take your cat." And so Nia was like, "Okay, cool." So she found a way to get the cat to her. And then when Nia finally came by me, she gets a call from this person and is like, "Hey, your cat doesn't get along with my cat, so I'm going to give it a different home." And Nia's like, "What do you mean you're gonna give it a different home?" She's like, "Yeah, don't worry, it'll be fine." And she's like, "Well, where are you putting my cat?" And she's like, well, I'm putting it in a shelter." And Nia was like, "You can't put my cat in a shelter. Like you can't do
What?
that." Yeah, no, I'm dead
Mm-hmm.
serious. And so like I was like, I said to her, I was like, I was trying real hard to like your friends and whatever, but like they keep doing shit like this. Like
What
they
the
keep doing
fuck?
shit. Yeah, no, I'm dead
No,
serious.
dead serious.
That's insane.
My next question to her was, "Can I get the cat back if you do this?" And her answer was, "No, probably not."
What did she
So I
took the
then
cat?
had
Did she take the cat
she
to the
took the cat.
shelter before telling you?
No, no, no.
No, no, no. Okay, so thankfully she told me before she did this. So I unfortunately had to contact my ex, who is not great, to go pick up the cat, and now I can definitely never get my cat back, but I'm at least comforted by the fact that she's in a safe home, not in a fucking shelter. But I had to do this after she promised she would take care of the fucking cat.
And like the thing is
Oh.
that I have no ill will towards these people. They like make me very angry to like think about them, but like I got no ill will towards these people. But the problem is that like she had known a number of these people for at least a few. Well, one of them was her best friend growing up. The other one was someone she had known for at least a few years. And the thing is that like when you're online and shit, and people like everybody wants to act like they're like a good person, like a generous person. And so they overpromise. And so they're like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. Don't worry, I would have your back if you were ever in trouble or whatever the fuck." But when push comes to shove, only a handful of people actually fucking do it. And that's what really made me mad about this whole situation, because she's like, "Oh yeah, no, these people have my back. I trust them. One of them's my childhood best friend or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, And I was just like, "All right, well, these people mean what they say." And then when I saw all this shit unfold, I was like, I okay, they just wanted to pretend like they were better people than they were, and they left you high and dry, but I guess I'll try to pick up the slack here, and so it's been water under the bridge ever since, and now she and I are the best of fucking friends, and
Mhm.
she's happy, safe, and healthy. Well, I mean, are you happy, safe, and healthy?
I'm happy, safe, and healthy, dude.
I was like,
Yeah,
I don't want
but
to talk
blink
that
if
part.
you're taken hostage, okay? Blink.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Stop
Mhm.
blinking. There we go.
But that's a crazy story. And well, the thing I have to say about that is, I mean, to me, it's shocking to hear that people would do that.
Mhm.
Say certain things and end up not doing it. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that's like that, but especially if it's someone close to you, you know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
just it's very crazy, and I just wow, I'm shocked.
I'm
Um,
not I'm not really shocked as much because like half the people in my life, like family and friends, had like abandoned me over just like rumors or shit they made up in their head and like wasn't even true. So like I was already sort of like used to this kind of thing. I think the thing that has been like very strange to me, but in a good way, and like I am not just saying this, is that like Twitch I expected that when we started streaming that like if the people in my real life had acted this way, that people online would be worse. But it's actually not been the case. People on Twitch have been more supportive than people that I knew personally in real life and grown up with had ever been. And that to me is both heartening and a little strange. So before we started streaming, when all this went down, and I was trying to have faith in Nia's friends or whatever,
Mhm.
like I kind of had this thought in the back of my head too, where I was like, well, nothing is done. My life has taught me nothing is done until it's done. People can say shit until they're blue in the face, but until they actually do what they say they're gonna do, it doesn't mean anything. So even to this day, people will be like, "Oh yeah, I'll definitely do that for you." And I'm like, cool. And I say, like, thank you. I thank them. But in my head, I'm already like, until they actually do it, nothing's been agreed upon. You know what I mean? Like, or, but it's not that it hasn't been agreed upon, but nothing's done until it's done. And so, like, I was not exactly caught off guard by that, like a little bit, but not a lot. But like, it's just been nice on Twitch to actually see like people actually be kind, be generous, be willing to like help each other out, like try to make as many friends as they can. It's been a breath of fresh air, like absolutely. I saw. I
Mhm.
don't know.
Yeah, it's, like I said, I think with the way that everyone is, just people in general. Like with me, my family's been pretty supportive on most part, but I
Mhm.
had a lot of hard time with friends when I was younger. And I know some people may have it like vice versa, and sometimes people don't have a good family or friendship with anybody. So I completely understand the difference between all this stuff, and I agree. When it comes to doing kind acts for people, setting the example, and hopefully that positivity can spread to other people, and hopefully it catches on, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I see that. I completely see that. So the next question I have for you guys is I want to talk about streaming routine. Like I know that you go on at a certain schedule and such, but what I want to talk about is what you do before the stream to keep yourself ready for the stream. What would you do?
Haha.
Um. So we laugh nervously because this has changed over time. I guess originally we did more what I think the proper answer would be, which is we would sit down, we would try to find things to talk about, we'd hammer out all our games and things that we wanted to play, and if like especially like I actually posted my statistics for my first month of streaming ever, and it was like um 83 hours streamed or something, and average viewers of 2 for the entire month, and like 30 something follows. I forget what it was. So, and those were quote the good times. So we used to prepare a lot more, things like that. These days, especially doing the partner push, um I have kind of been doing like 8 to 16-hour streams depending on the day. So a lot of times I'll finish streams, be up for a little while, and then fall asleep, and then wake up right before the next stream, make sure I have the game downloaded, and then I just do stream again. It's been a very rough process, and there really hasn't been a ton in the way of preparation. I would say that most of our preparation goes on Sundays when we actually sit down to hammer out the schedule between us for the entire week. That's where she and I chop up the days, talk about games. But Nia's always been a little bit more organized for stream than I am, so maybe she has a different process than I do.
What about you,
No,
Nia?
okay. Kind of. I get up earlier before Ellion, so I will look at more stuff, and I do spend more time organizing my my sources for OBS and making sure everything works for the day, whereas Ellion does not organize any of his sources for OBS, and it bothers me greatly. Um
The call out, the fucking call out.
Wow.
I'm right, and you should organize it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Other than that, No, not really. My stuff isn't too different. Though if I have enough time in a day, which is almost never nowadays, I will make new commands or make new redeems more often before stream. I used to do it way more often and used to be very on the up and up about that, but oh boy, do I wake up really late now.
Yeah. And we're both very, very busy because, like, even off stream, it's like I try to talk to as many of, like, I'm only one person and I have Nia too, but like we're only like two people, and
Mhm.
we try to talk to as many people as we can in their streams, support as many friends as possible when they've got birthdays, events,
Mhm.
anything like that. But I still do, odd jobs, independent contractor work, things like that on the side. And then it's, you got to go buy food, you got to go make food. And I still try to stay in shape as best I can. I've fallen off, during the partner push a little bit, but normally I am in very good shape, and so we don't have a lot of time. There's not a lot of free time
Mhm.
outside of everything that we do.
Mm-hmm. So you pretty much, Ellion, you just kind of like wake up and try to do the best you can. Just get on and do your thing, right? And Nia's
Well,
more.
Nia's more what?
I would say Nia was more, kind of like she wakes up earlier and looks more into what she is going to be doing more than you just waking up. Is that what I'm getting?
She will put a little bit more into the prep.
Yeah.
Like I used to do what she did, but about
We've just run out of time.
3 months ago, I basically they real briefly they changed the way partner pushing works. Um,
Yes.
and people were like, "Oh, this is better," but in functionally speaking, it's kind of been worse. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's better in some aspects. Like, you don't have to hold a 75 average across, although they probably secretly are judging you whether you do this, and you just have to hit a 75 average on like a certain number of days in like a week or the month or whatever. But I had just hit a 75 average and announced a partner push, and then they changed the rules like 2 days after I said that I was going to do this. And I had no idea they were going to do this. So it threw me into disarray. But even before that, to get to the point where I finally had a 75 average and I thought I'd finally be able to, like, apply, um, I was already pushing very hard. I was staying up way later to try to
Mhm.
get new people in, to try to get new people to come see me. And I was running, like, at that point, I was running anywhere from 13 to, at one point on my birthday, I did a 24-hour stream. And then I was just streaming like 3 times a week, every week, and then showing up on Nia's streams too as much as I could.
Mhm.
Um, it's certainly taken its toll. And in the wake of that, like, I'll set the schedule for the week. I'll make sure that I have the games I'm going to be playing downloaded. But I pretty much wake up, open up all my programs, and immediately roll right into stream.
Mhm.
Would like to go back to the point where I am prepping better, but it's just hard with no time. The only time I really have is, like, let's say I stream till 5, 6, 7 a.m. or something. I'm then usually awake, like, in the Discord or something for another hour or two, where I kind of just like try to decompress and unwind with something, and then I fall asleep and I repeat the process all over again. I
Mhm.
don't have a ton of time, so
That's crazy. Like,
yeah.
I have a question about for both of you when it comes to
Mhm.
burnout. How do y'all handle burnout and creative blocks?
the
Uh,
It'll be very different answers. I'm gonna let Nia go first on this. You want to tell him?
you go first.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So, burnout as far as streaming goes, like, the only time I've really ever felt burned out is kind of now. But it's because I'm like, when you finally are able to apply to the partner program, um, they say it'll take about 2 weeks. They do say that holidays can affect it. And so I started the partner push right when right before, maybe 2 days before or so, they dropped the new system. So anyone like me who got caught up in the new system, who was on track to be able to apply for partner, got the ability to apply for it around when I did, which was around a little bit before Thanksgiving. So I put in that application, and it says it could take anywhere from up to 2 weeks, or around 2 weeks, and holidays can't affect it. We are like, we're almost 3 weeks in. I have still not heard anything back from them remotely. And I do not think that they realize the toll that the partner push takes on a person. And so this is really the only time where I've felt burnout, specifically about streaming. That said, I also am a person who's written a book. I published it online. It's not currently available because I had a fallout with Amazon, and I had to take it down because they were trying to charge me. Amazon's a scam. They tried to charge me $70 to email the book to somebody every time it was purchased, and the book's sale price was like $9 or something. It didn't make any sense. So it's all a scam. So I took it down to then reformat it and put it on the other ebook programs, but I just never got around to it because that's the time I started streaming.
Mm-hmm.
But while I was writing, the best way to get through a creative block was a combination of things. It was you had to kind of step back from what you were doing. Writer's block was two things for me, or creative block. It doesn't have to be specifically about writing. It was either what you're doing is too boring, or there's some kind of logical inconsistency that doesn't make sense with the rest of your what you're doing. So for me in writing, it was either like I didn't think a scene was exciting enough, or it meant that something in the scene was conflicting with something else that I had written, and I knew it subconsciously, but I didn't know it consciously. So the best thing for me to do at that point was to take a step back, keep the ideas mulling about in my brain, like they're always in there, like I'm not forgetting, putting it off to the side completely. And then I would run on the treadmill, so I would be exercising, but not outside, so there was no external distraction with music in my ears, and then start thinking about the problems that I was having with where I was with creativity. So it could either be like a plot point, it could be a character design, anything like that. And usually, if I was keeping it in the forefront of my mind, actively working on it, and then exercising with good music in my ears that would help fuel my creativity, I could almost always work out a writer's block. But it was the combination of knowing that writer's block wasn't actually just this mythical block of you don't know what's going on. It was that writer's block has a cause. You just got to figure out what it is in the context of what you're doing, and then try to find solutions from it, while relaxing a little bit, and get the creative juices flowing. So,
Oh boy, I am also currently in a state of burnout, and I definitely handle it very differently. My way of handling burnout, because for me, my burnout usually comes from a creative standpoint, kind of like Ellion. Um, I take time off from what I'm doing, as opposed to just running directly into a wall. Take more breaks, spend more time figuring out why I enjoyed the thing I did. So, in terms of a game, for example, if I feel burnout from a game, I'll take a small break from it and think about why I enjoyed the game the way I did. Kind of like I will sometimes get burnout from 14, for example. I'll take a break from it, few months, come back to it, and realize why I liked it again. So same thing with streaming. I'll take more days off, but I won't fully stop. I'll take time to realize why I enjoyed streaming and put more effort into streams. I'll make more stuff on the side, whether it be more posts on social media. I'll work on the bot that I do. I'll help Ellion mod his stream and stuff like that, and come to terms with why I enjoyed streaming, and so that I can rekindle the joy that I felt.
yeah,
Nice.
I would say burnout for past jobs and stuff was a little tricky, but I can't help with that too much because I always had burnout at the places that I worked, but a lot of it was not the work itself, it was my coworkers. I worked in a lot of places where my coworkers were very either lazy or confrontational, one or the other. And all I ever wanted to do was go to work, do my job, and go home. But eventually I started realizing that for a lot of these people, the interpersonal office relations were almost more important, or actually were more important than you doing your job properly. And so I used to get burned out real quick because I would put my all into what I was doing and then realize that I was not being appreciated. So sometimes, like, burnout in the working sense comes from a feeling of, you are putting all your effort into something, but there is no reward or no appreciation for everything you're doing. And then to recover from it, I would just kind of like quit my job and then vegetate, for a while, or depending on how bad it was. And sometimes it was really fucking bad. But the only thing that really got me, I guess, recovering from burnout of life in general was the hope that I set goals for myself. I was like, I would like to one day, because like everybody wants happiness, but there are very few people like know exactly what that looks like for them specifically. And so I was like, well, what would happiness look like for me? In an app, because I used to live for my friends, but that didn't turn out so great. So I was like, all right, if I had to choose happiness for myself, what would I pick? And I was like, well, I think things that would finally get me on a path to happiness would be, I would like a job that is not reliant on my physical location, and I would like to do something creative for a living. Those two things. And so that's why I turned to the book. And then eventually, why, when I met Nia, I was willing to give streaming a try, because I was like, it seemed VTubing, and people talk about VTubing, this, that, like, oh, I didn't want to shower on a given day for VTubing. I'm like, okay, cool, I guess. But the thing about VTubing is that VTubing is an amazing medium of expression, of just, like, you're very obsessed with D&D. Like, you get to make this character, and then you get to entertain, and then have a fragment of your creativity show through on stream in a very fun way. I think it's an amazing storytelling and medium of expression. Not all this shit about like VTubers are fucking ugly, or like oh yeah, it's because we were lazy and didn't want to like shower on a given day or whatever. Like, none of that, all that seems like really weird to me. Like, I think it's just an amazing creative storytelling medium that we can all use and have fun with. Like, I don't know, but anyway,
I totally
I
agree.
digressed.
So what snacks? Y'all have snacks with you right now?
I did.
I just ate my snacks, so
I had a chocolate chip cookie that was gluten
I
free.
also had some chocolate chip cookies.
Oh hell yeah. Let's go. Currently what I'm stacking on is flaming hot cheddar and sour cream flavored
You're gonna
Ruffles.
kill Ellion. You're gonna kill him. Ellion's hatred of cheese comes through.
Oh yeah.
Also not a big fan of sour cream, but I
Ellion
hate
hates cheese.
every fiber of my being. I hate cheese.
So
Bro hates cheese.
the reason why I like these things so much is that they don't taste like either of what it is. It's more like almost like hot wing type of flavor, like a buffalo. So it doesn't really have that cheddar and sour cream taste to it, at least to me, So I know that sounds kind of weird, but this shit is fucking good. I would say at least try it if you like spice. If you don't like spice, then stay away from it.
You will never get me to eat cheese. You can put a gun in my head and I'll just be like, pull the trigger, buddy. But Nia might.
What am I doing?
Eating his sour cream and cheddar.
Oh yeah. I'm not big on sour cream, but if it came to nacho cheese chips, oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a huge Doritos fan, but purple Doritos are the best one.
Yeah,
what flavor?
Oh, go ahead.
Sweet and spicy chili is the purple Doritos. Those are delicious. Oh god, I could down a bag of those.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, if you want to give it a try, like I said, flaming hot cheddar and sour cream, it's pretty good. It kind of has like a hot wing flavor to it than actual cheddar and sour cream. So it's pretty good. I would say try it. So so I got some other questions for you. So one of the things that I would like to ask, do you how does your community influence you in your content? Like, do you tell them what you're going to do, or do they tell you what they would like to see you do, or like how does that
Mm.
go for you guys?
Most of the time, we are the ones who decide what we do. Like, we keep a schedule, and we're usually pretty good about keeping our schedule. Um, but occasionally, if we don't know what to do or something's not going as well as we would like it to, we let our communities decide based on a list of things that we'd be okay with doing. So like we'll put a poll up or something. It's just like here's a set of things we want to do, but we'll include the things that we'd like to do in it. Things like for Ellion, Final Fantasy 11, for me, Final Fantasy 14, stuff like that. But those days really only happen. Those are our fuck it days when things don't go the way we want it to. So we then let people pick based on who's there and stuff.
Yeah.
But most of the time, we're pretty good about keeping to our schedule. So we're the ones who decide what we do, and then our community goes along with it.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool, cool, cool. So when you don't stream, like days off and such, what games do you play?
So,
Elliot, you want to go first? Because I know what your first answer is.
yeah. So first off, like, we don't really have much in the way of free time. Our free time, like I mentioned earlier, our free time is pretty late at night, and even on days where we don't stream, we're usually working on either art projects in the background or we have something else to do on our days off. So the reason I usually offer like collabs or things like this, like this interview, like on Wednesdays, is because Wednesday is like our only day that we don't have other stuff going on, but we're usually pretty busy at other points. Um, Late at night, like after a stream, if I am going to be awake for a while, I usually play Final Fantasy 11, which is the MMO that took
Uh-huh.
me before Final Fantasy 14. Also lately, I've been playing a little bit of Night Rain because I fucking love Night Rain, but you do too, obviously, Cleric. But
Mhm.
Final Fantasy 11 is like I've been playing that game since 2004.
Mhm.
And people are like, "Oh yeah, I didn't even know the servers are still up," and I'm like, "Yes, they are."
Yes,
And the
they are.
the game is fun because people are like, "Oh, you got to go play on a private server," and I'm like, "No, you don't." In fact, the private servers are like locked in 2004, but then also they're modifying the gameplay, and it's just kind of a weird hodgepodge of whatever the private server people think is good when it's just I don't know. It's fine, I guess. The good news about the private servers is you don't have to pay a sub. You just have to deal with whatever bullshit the server owners want to put you through. But it's Square Enix in their current form of Final Fantasy 11. The game is a lot of fun. There's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I don't like how some changes they made," and I'm like, "Whatever." I'm like, "I'm not going back to 2004. I lived those times. That shit was ass garbage." Like we did it because we didn't know any better. We were fucking stupid, and now the game's just fun, I mean, like sometimes the community can get a little overzealous and they can ruin something, or make something less fun. But if you're playing the game and you're chilling with your homies or you're soloing, and or you meet a good group of people who's really supportive, the game's an absolute fucking blast. And Nia is she plays 11 with me a little bit, but she's mostly about that Final Fantasy 14 life.
Yeah, I love Final Fantasy 14.
I used to
I
play it,
play it a
but
lot, like a lot, a lot. Other than
That's
that, I like Warframe. Warframe's also really fun. I've been
Warframe's a
getting back
blast.
into that lately.
okay.
Warframe is a joy. Love that shit. And then I play whatever Ellion wants me to play with him. So like I'll play 11 sometimes. I was doing Monster Hunter last night with Ellion. And I
You like
occasionally do Night
11
Rain. I do
though.
like 11.
You like 11 though.
Too, but also 14.
I know they just unlocked all the
All
glamour
the glam.
to be cross-classed, so anyone can
Mm-hmm.
wear anything, and Nia's been having
A
a
blast.
blast. That was actually one of the things that Nia and I used to do when we first met on 14 and we're hanging out all the time. Back then, I was not as busy as I am now, and I used to obsess over glamours in 11, in Final Fantasy 14. In like Heaven's War. Wait, Claire, can you play 14?
I'm actually a little baby in 14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
A
a little baby.
sprout.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know when you started or when you were playing, but when Heaven's Ward expansion came out, my friends played it. We got through the story, and then they all quit. and I was the only one left playing, me and like one other person that I didn't really hang out with much at the time. And I didn't know what to do, but I didn't want to play anything else. So I used to stare at the market board and just look at armor. And then from there, I was like, oh, I could make this look good with this. But back then, the game didn't have many glam options at all. And I used to put together as good of glamours as I could. And ever since that moment, I had been addicted to fucking glamours. The only reason I put it down was because we got so busy with stream and real life that I didn't have time to do it anymore. So I logged in the other day to fix up some of my glams when they unlocked them all. But it's just been I don't know. It's been fun. I just haven't been on 14 as much as I used to.
So it's you guys are streaming. Well, I know you guys when you guys stream, but for anyone who's watching this video, when do you guys usually stream?
Oh, you want to handle it?
Sure. Right now, Ellion has set days. But when, not if, Ellion gets partner, we'll go back to what we used to do, which is alternating days. So usually our days are Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday off, Friday, Saturday. And then those days are either me or Ellion, depending on who got what days last week.
Yeah. So
Right now, though, Ellion has set days, so I just pick up the other days. So we took Sunday off because I overslept, but I'm usually Monday, and usually Sunday. Sometimes I'll pick up a Wednesday, but Ellion now is Tuesday, Friday, Saturday.
Wednesdays are kind of, in terms of numbers, Wednesdays are kind of shit days to stream on, and then Thursdays are a little bit better, but they're a little bit better, but not great. So Thursday is movie night. So we stream every other day. Normally, we stream every other day of the week except for Wednesday and Thursday. Like I said, that's why we offer Wednesdays to people for collabs, things like this. Stuff like that, because it's our really only true day off. And even then, we've got other stuff to do. But right now, only for the partner push, I've been taking
Tuesday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. And you would think that, I chose those days because those are the days with better viewer turnout. And that's not exactly what I did. I chose the days that if I ran past 4 a.m., I was able to retain the people that I had. So, like, Sunday was probably one of our better days for viewership, but I didn't choose Sunday because people got to go to work on Monday. And when 3 or 4 a.m. hits, most people dipped, which was not good for maintaining an average. So I chose some days that may be a little bit rougher to stream on, depending. But if I had a lead going, I was able to keep it even if I ran to like 8 a.m. So that's the current schedule. But we always start, every day we do stream, we start at 8 p.m. Eastern. So that is 5 p.m. PST, 7 p.m. CST. And I don't know, we like to keep the start time consistent because we've learned over time that the schedule is mostly just for us.
Yeah.
People tell you till they're blue in the face that they look at your schedule and they maybe toss it a like on social media or something. But people don't really remember or internalize your schedule. If you don't pop up on the left bar and they see you there, they're probably not coming in on a given day. So, as much as, we've grown and we like to think that people know when we're going to be streaming, a lot of people don't. You got your regulars who come in and they know by heart when you're going to be streaming and what you're going to be doing. And we're eternally grateful to everybody who comes to stream. But most of the people who trickle in when they finally see you pop up on that sidebar and then you're playing a game that they like, that kind of thing.
I have I don't know if it's a complicated question, but I'll try my best to word it the best I can. For anyone who is wanting to stream or YouTube, or any type of like content creation of some sort, what is your best like tip or advice you would give that person from your experience? Yeah.
The first thing I would say is start streaming with your voice. Like, don't don't drop like $800 on a VTuber model when you're not sure if you actually want to VTube. Like, I think that's a lot of people's biggest problem. If you want to start with a model or a PNG, there are plenty of artists who do great PNG work. There's plenty of free assets that you can use on places like Booth and other things. There's customizable VTuber models now, which are something that me and Ellion didn't have when we started, that are a great choice for people who don't know what they want to look like yet, and it's a great option for people. There's lots of overlays you can get on places like Etsy and, again, Booth. There's plenty of artists out there who would love to take a commission. And even if you want to start with like the minimum stuff, all you really need is OBS, which is free. You need a microphone. There's plenty of cheap ones out there that are really good. Any of the like the I forget what I used to use a Yeti Snowball. Those are pretty cheap. Those are also really good. And then just your voice. There's PNG tuber programs if you want to use a PNG, like I said, and there's just a lot you can do, and you can track with your phone. You don't need a webcam, and you don't need a fancy setup to make everything work. Just start streaming with what you got, and if you really feel left out, there's options for you to pick up a VTuber model, like a pre-made or a customizable one where you can get your own vibe going. I think that's the best way to start, is to not drop $800 immediately on something that you don't know if you want.
Right. That's very sound advice. I think what I will say for my best advice is that, streaming there are social norms and mores and things like that, that kind of trickle down in the space, although I guess they've been eroding lately. But um, for the most part, people don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They don't know who to get advice from. And it's hard because, like, you don't know who you could trust, who's just saying shit. And I've seen a lot of well-meaning takes on streaming and VTubing that, just from my own experience, I'm like, this is more harmful to people than it is helpful. What I will say is that in our space, it is a tendency of people to look at the biggest of us and be like, well, if they're doing this, then that must be the right way to do it. And so they see these people who dropped like 20 grand before they ever debuted, and they built a Twitter following, and then they opened up crushing it, and they don't need anybody, they don't need any friends, and they're an island unto themselves. I think that is the most unhealthy thing that anybody could ever do, because everybody wants to be successful. Everybody wants to be appreciated for their work, and what success is to each individual, varies. But, a lot of people are like, well, I'd like people to come to stream, and I'd like people to appreciate the effort that I'm putting into this, as a measure of success, at least in its basic form. The problem then is that, they're like, well, okay, I'll just put up my little signboard. I will, and then enough people will come in. But that's not really the way it works. A lot of the people who were very successful out of the gate were people who did some other kind of either social media or streaming venture, like they maybe did streaming on another platform and then they completely rebranded on another one. They knew that they had, or they knew that they had the resources, and they knew that they had not what it takes, but they had the effort that they were going to put in, and they were already successful somewhere else. They knew from past experience that they could do this, and so they were willing to gamble that much money on it. Some people make as much money as they put into it, and others don't. But regardless of the money you make, I think my advice on this, after this a little bit of a ramble here, is that you got to go make friends. You got to go talk to people. Like, everybody treats VTubing like it's some kind of zero-sum game. Like, if I go talk to them, then I'll lose my people, or they're just talking to me because they want my people or something. It's all ridiculous nonsense. Like, are there people out there who have bad intentions? Absolutely. You always got to make sure you're safe. You always got to make sure you're protecting yourself, and that you're not letting people, push your boundaries. You got to set up your boundaries. You got to make sure people aren't violating them. But from there, you got to reach out. You got to talk to people. Like, me and Nia would be nowhere if we didn't network as much as we did. Try to help people, try to set up things, just try to foster other people's success and facilitate the people. Because here's the thing. You can go achieve your success. Oh, sorry, I was echoing. You can go achieve your success or whatever you wanted, but how you get there matters. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, I just want to be instantly successful, and like I'm mad that I'm not growing. Like, everybody grows at different rates, like sure, there's something to be said of the amount of time you put into something, the regularity that you put into it, but it's not the whole picture. Like a lot of it is how willing are you to go make friends, to go talk to people, to, you know, try to just meet new people. Because like, if you think about people and viewership and things like that, it's like, if everybody gets 2 views, then maybe if they're watching their main streamer, maybe you could be their second view. Or maybe when their favorite streamer is not live, maybe then they'll get you up. The goal is never to take somebody from somebody else. That's fucking stupid. Let's say, hypothetically, you had another streamer and then you somehow cannibalized their viewership or whatever. Like, that would be not only a shitty thing to do, but it wouldn't even be good for you because then, one, you look like an asshole, and two, that person is no longer growing and you guys can no longer help each other. Like, you can't raid them anymore and they certainly can't raid you and vice versa. The network falls apart. Like, it only helps you if you are networking with the goal in mind of everybody can build and everybody can benefit from this. And they can only do that if you have a good heart in your chest and are wanting to help people build and grow in this way. You know what I mean? So I would say, like, do not fear networking. Go out with the intention of helping other people and spend time with people who want to help you in return. Like, it's not like a quid pro quo. It's not like I did this for you. You have to do this for me. Nobody owes anybody anything. But if you don't go in there with the idea of like, okay, we can all help each other and, like I'm going to spend time with other people, then why would they ever spend time with you? You know what I mean? So I see a lot of people who look at these bigger VTubers and are like, well, they didn't need anybody's help. They went in and they just fucking crushed it out of the gate. I guess
They had lots of money. That's different.
Yeah, they had lots of money to spend, So
Money.
anyway, yeah. Huh?
What's money? Because I don't have any. That's another thing, dude. VTubers are broke. Let's put it out there. They're always spending fucking money on everything.
It's true. No, you're right. But especially but that's going back to Nia's advice. Nia's like, figure out, if you like streaming and figure out if people like you. And even if you're streaming to not many people and you're just streaming with your voice, or you got a PNG or you got a pre-made model, there are ways to do VTubing economically to test the waters, to see if it's something that you won't get burned out on, to see if it's something that you actually enjoy. I guess on that note, I kind of jogged a memory of when you were talking about burnout. Part of the reason that I avoid burnout in VTubing like I do is because I had so many bad like office environment work situations where I basically did not want to be on this planet anymore, that it puts a lot of things in perspective for me. And I'm like, the work that I do here is infinitely more enjoyable than anything I did in the law or in government. It is infinitely more enjoyable. And so there may be things that I don't enjoy that come, certain parts of streaming that I may not have fun with, but I keep doing it because I know that this is what I need to do in order to, keep growing, and I'm not going back to my old life. You know what I mean? As long as I can avoid it anyway. So I guess it's a lot of the trauma, put things in perspective and help fence off the burnout, for a lack of a better way to put it. But anyway, that's just tying the current point into the previous one. But
of course. So what's the next big thing for you guys?
Well,
for Ellion, that's hopefully being a partner.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been nearly 3 weeks. I have not heard a single thing back from them. And then my last stream I did, I was live for about an hour, and then our ISP decided to completely knock out our internet for 3 hours. So that stream's just a wash. I get real nervous in the review period of, well, I know they say that here are the rules, but are they going to be like, oh, well, you were only pulling, like a 40 average here, like half of, what is required. Like, yeah, I guess he can't keep
that
it
they
up
don't do that.
Yeah, so I've been nervous. I'm hoping that Twitch partner is the next thing for me, and then from there, we have some plans. Nia's got
Nia is working on her 2.0.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So that's working in the background, and then obviously after time has passed from Ellion, I'd like to start my own partner push. I don't
Yes.
want to exhaust anyone though, so I'm taking as much time as I need.
The plan is because the partner push has been draining physically, mentally, and I'm so unbelievably grateful to all the people who show up on a given day and raid in. I just feel that like I can't, like I feel like everybody will need a break when when it's done. If they deny me, I have to keep going. Like there is like I've had a bunch of Twitch partners actually reach out to me and be like, "Hey, I just want you to know when I applied, I got rejected like once or twice, but I applied like one person was like I applied 3 days after the rejection and then I got it. So I was like, okay, so if I fail, like, or if I not fail, but if they reject me, I have to keep going. Like, so it extends the partner push because then it's like not only do I have to wait like the 3 days or whatever before I can apply again, but then I have to go another 2 weeks at least until I hear back from them. And so if I manage to get partner, we've got a few plans in the works. I've got rewards for people, stuff like that. But she's got her 2.0. So we're hoping to have like, I don't know, 4 months off for where we're not doing any kind of event. Everybody could just chill out and relax. And then we're going to try to do her partner push around the time whenever her 2.0 would come in. We're not sure how long the rigging process will take because we're working out the art of it right now. And we're hoping that then everybody will be rested enough and, we'll have grown our averages enough to be able to sustain another partner push for her specifically. And then, like she did for me, I'll take a back seat to whatever she needs to do, and we will do whatever it takes in order to help her achieve her goal. So I would say also in the works, I have a pet on stream. His name is Jeremy. He's getting a redesign because he was like a cheap Etsy asset, but everybody really liked him. He's an adorable little frog, and so I asked them all like if we could remake him. What would you want him to be? And they said Demon Dragon Frog because I'm a Demon Dragon VTuber. And so the artist has been working on him, and he's coming along. He looks adorable, and so I'll have a little pet. I'm also working on getting a VTuber at some point, getting a VTuber model for. Have you seen Estrella on my stream? She's not a real person. She's just a character that was made for stream, Cleric. Or
Yeah. You talk about
yeah,
usually like on the right side of the screen, I believe, right?
yes. Yeah, so I have Estrella's reference sheet, all that hammered out. I want to get her a VTuber model because originally, I had a few different plans of what I wanted to do with her, but one of them was very complicated, and the person who's going to help me with that, they disappeared off the face of the earth, so that one kind of fell through. So the backup plan is I'm going to get a VTuber model for her, and then on days where Nia isn't there, I'm going to use the VTube Studio collab software, and then people will be able to use redeems to interact with her, with Estrella and me independently through, through the VTube Studio collab anyway. So that's the idea right now. So we got a bunch of things in the works. It's just we like to do everything right, and as you're no doubt aware, things done correctly, take a lot of time. And so we're a little slow on getting our projects out, but we hope that when we finish them, everybody will see the effort and appreciate what we're putting into these things.
Heck yeah, man. That's freaking awesome. All that sounds amazing. And I just want to say this to everyone who is watching. I'm going to have links right on both of my sides for Ellion and Dia. So if you guys would like to follow them, it'd be easy for you to click and go to their channel and check them out, see if you like them. I guarantee you'll love them. They are absolutely amazing. I watch them whenever I do see them on. So definitely go check them out.
Thank you. We appreciate that. And everybody, if you're not already following Cleric the Mimic, you should.
You should do that.
He's got a sweetheart in there, so go check him out. And very unique Mimic D&D VTuber. But like before I met you, I mean, I had seen other people who were like D&D style mimics, but I had never seen anybody who's like popping out of the chest with the eldritch tentacle and elements like that. Like you were definitely the person who went the hardest on that mimic design, and I was always really blown away by it.
Well, thanks. I really appreciate it. And what's so interesting, I don't really got a chance to show you guys, but I will show you guys afterwards. But
Sure.
I do have a 2.0 coming in pretty soon.
Ooh, very
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, so I'll show you guys after this entire thing. But yeah, definitely follow these wonderful beans. They're amazing. Go check them out. And of course, I will be interviewing a little bit some other people pretty soon. So check out those whenever that happens as well. So I'm gonna go bye bye now and say hello, say bye to everyone. Yeah, wave at the screen, everybody. Yeah, what's all wave?
Bye.
Bye bye. I will see y'all later. Bye bye.